Namaste friends, I am Dr. Vikrant Singh Tomar, Global Convener United Consciousness. Mahatma Gandhi once said, be the change that you want to see in the world. World has always seen two forces. Forces which unite us together and forces which divide us. And there has been two approaches towards these forces. Either criticizing what is wrong or contributing in establishing what is right. United Consciousness is a global initiative of Project Self to contribute and establish divine beyond divides with a mission of one consciousness, one being. Because it is the same blood that flows in all. It is the same water that nourishes us. It is the same air that enriches us. It is the same earth that holds us. Same space envelops us. When a tiny virus doesn't discriminate between us, let's not let any mental virus divide us. Let's not discuss what happens before birth or what will happen after death. let's focus on what happens after birth and what should happen before death. How should I live and lead in accord with my true nature? Maharshi Patanjali has established a divine scripture called Yoga Sutram, which talks about me identifying my own true nature, the philosophy of oneness, philosophy of union, uniting mind, body, and soul, uniting me, you, and all. Because when there is chaos inside, certainly there will be conflict outside. When there will be peace inside, there will be prosperity outside. Yoga Sutra establishes a grand model of 8 steps towards an ideal world. First step being yama, restraints, purifying my external behavior towards others and fellow beings, creating an ethically high society. Second, observations, niyamas, purifying my internal behavior, my understanding towards myself, making me an elevated individual. Then asanas, making a physically fit world with a purified body, a world with no disease. Pranayama, breath regulation, leads to purification of breath and regulation of mind. Pratyahara, sense control, leads to purification of sense and a non-distracted mind. Dharana, concentration, ability to focus on any object at my own will, leads to purification of mind and a focused mind. A regulated, non-distracted, focused mind certainly assures high quality of life. Then dhyana, meditation, ability to focus deep and long, leads to purification of I-ness, leads to culminates into fixing mind on my true purpose of life. And finally samadhi, absorption, purifying self and absorbed in my own purpose of life, reaching the goal of life. Yoga envisages a world where I am individually elevated with niyamas. We establish an ethically rooted society in yamas, physically healthy society with asanas, mentally peaceful world with pranayam and pratyahara, spiritually elevated world with dharana and dhyana, and enlightened being with samadhi. Then only there will be Ram Rajya established. Kingdom of heaven will be established, and that will be a real promised land. So dear friends, United Consciousness invites all of you together between 18th to 26th of June to contribute and witness one of the world's most diversified yoga event, International Yoga Week celebration. Sit back and witness one of the grand masters of yoga philosophy, life coaches, dancers, practitioners, meditators coming together on a common platform from more than 120 countries of the world to contribute in establishing divine beyond divides. So sit back, relax and enjoy and witness and get benefited by this grand event. I would like to extend my thanks to European Yoga Federation, AYT Australia, Yogismo International South America, Project Self Incorporation USA, Spiritual Council in Africa, Siddhashram, Yoga Vidya Germany, Yogalam, World Movement for Ayurveda and Yoga for having contributed in this event. Thank you very much.
Connect, bringing together European yoga teachers and establishing delegates and representatives for each country, considering the social differences in various countries and support the needs. Equality, regardless of gender, origin, sexual orientation, social class, and religion. Overcoming dogmatism, fundamentalism, to promote universal understanding.
Bye.
Promote, encouraging a yogic lifestyle and a holistic approach to life as a tool for physical and mental wellness, a more spiritually elevated, peaceful happy, and physically fit society.
Integrate and unify. Integrating science and the art of yogic living, modern knowledges with ancient wisdoms for betterment of the world and global development. Recognizing, accepting and integrating the many different paths that lead to the same final goal, making sure that yoga will maintain its original purpose. Namaste.
Provide study of secular knowledge, philosophy and ancient text, Bhagavad Gita, Yoga Sutra and Veda. Study of techniques, modern developments in teaching techniques, incorporating scientific findings in medicine, psychology, etc. To guarantee a certain standard, an established graduation system to provide a minimum standard for yoga teachers training.
I'm very honored and delighted to welcome our performance from the organization Play for Change. Play for Change is not only the organization, but it is a movement created to inspire and connect the world through music and break the boundaries. They reimagine a world connected by music to spread a global message of hope and unity. Playing for Change was born in 2002 as a shared vision between co-founder Mark Johnson and Whitney Kroenke. This musical journey resulted in the award-winning documentary, A Cinematic Discovery of Street Music. Today, Play for Change is playing the song With My Own Two Hands. In the group, we have ADT Burqa Group from Burkina Faso, Bayu Hawa from Nepal, Aaron Mendoza from Spain, Camelia Silve from Brazil, Saint Levy from Haiti, Warren Perrins from USA, Gugo Macaldo from Brazil, Jean Francis Gay from Haiti, Ayeti from Port-au-Prince, Haiti, Chantal Urbain from Canada, Mel Seme from Spain, Rajiv Shrestha from Nepal, Masa Dembele from Burkina Faso, Yenega Boys from Burkina Faso, Rameshwar Mahajan from Nepal, Zedalas from Burkina Faso, Powell Tanbo from Haiti, Orchestra Confluence from France, Luis Pengues from Argentina, Minstrel of Hope from Philippines.
Change the world with my own two hands. Make a better place with my own two hands. Make a kinder place with my own two hands. With my own two hands. With my own two hands.
T'as changé mon langue avec des mains moins. Fais un monde qui vit bon avec des mains moins. Fais un monde qui vit tout avec des mains Je veux changer le monde avec mes deux mains. Faire un monde meilleur avec mes deux mains. Faire un monde plus doux avec mes deux mains. 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 I'm gonna make it a brighter place. I'm gonna make it a safer place. I'm gonna help the human race. And I hold you. And I comfort you. But you got to use your own two hands.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Play for Change musical group for coming onto the platform of United Consciousness and giving such a wonderful performances. Thank you. Today we also have with us Francoise Barbara Friedman. She's a founder and director of Birthlight. She is PhD from Cambridge and she is still active in medical anthropologist at the University of Cambridge, where she holds an affiliated lectureship. While working as a senior yoga teacher and yoga therapist specialized in the area of reproductive health for women and their families, she initiated a prenatal yoga module for yoga therapy diploma course created by Dr. Robin Monroe at the Yoga Biomedical Trust, London in 1995, followed by postnatal yoga and well-woman yoga. She has pioneered a style of yoga accessible to all women irrespective of their level of fitness and background, with a focus on prevention and integrated maternity care. Birthlight, a UK-registered charity, originated in experimental Cambridge-based classes with the aim to enhance well-being during the prenatal continuum from conception to year 3. For this purpose, she pioneered equinatal yoga, baby yoga, and a yoga-based approach to water parenting. Birthlight is an acclaimed international training provider with an extensive network of trainers, teachers, and members including health professionals as well as yoga teachers and therapists. She has authored 10 books on yoga and contributes to Yoga General. She is a long-standing member of International MERS Society of Prenatal Mental Health and the Society of Psychomatic Obstetrics, Gynecology and Andrology, the Journal of the Pre- and Postnatal Psychology and Health Association, among others. Besides speaking at international conferences, she convened Birthlight conferences at Cambridge, London.
You are visible and audible, Francis Wu. Please begin. Namaste.
Namaste, Vikramji. Thank you for the invitation to speak for Yoga United Consciousness. It's a wonderful celebration of yoga, and it's a celebration in a time of crisis, and it's a time of crisis for birth as well. So one could say that prenatal yoga has grown with yoga in the last 4 decades, but over the same period, women have been increasingly affected by perinatal mental health issues. So we started with postnatal depression, but now it's moved throughout pregnancy. From the minute of conception, women are made to be extraordinarily anxious. And of course, we have a fertility crisis as well. So how do we address this crisis, including the pathological fear of childbirth that some women have, called tocophobia, and birth trauma that pushes some women to give birth out of hospital in unsafe conditions. So while women have more options at birth with cesarean sections and routinely offered in hospitals, many women feel disempowered and feel like they've not got the joy that they expected with their newborn babies. So yoga needs to change to address these needs. From the time I started to now, the world has changed and yoga adaptations need to change too. So the answer is not in more high-tech services. The answer is better antenatal care at the grassroots and in the community, going back to the principles of yoga and the values of yoga. I hope to convince you that yoga can not only help pregnant women to be fitter for birth maybe, but to approach birth in a state of calm, confident wellness. And this will serve women in their lives as mothers. Today, I opened Apple News this morning and I saw the study about women from 9/11 and their babies, women who were pregnant when the Twin Towers were destroyed, and all the sequels that followed in their babies' lives. So yoga for pregnancy impacts on the wellness of babies for a very long term, maybe for the whole of life. So let's move from the possibility of childbirth without pain to the possibility of calm, well, relaxed pregnancy. Can we give birth without pain? Yes, we can. But this is rare. This is increasingly rare because in hospital, the biomedical model creates stress and women find it difficult to be embodied enough to give birth without pain. So it is possible, but it takes a lot of dedication with yoga. And for this talk, let's forget about how babies are born and let's focus on the 9 months that shape life. Accompanying a woman through a pregnancy month by month, week by week is possible, is feasible, it's easy. And in the community, it can be done in circles of women, like it has always been done through the ages in all communities and cultures in the world, probably in India too. So our goal is not birth without pain, it is birthing lightly. And this is why I call the organization I founded Birthlight. Because Birthlight means birthing without strain. And it also refers to the light of birth, the spiritual dimension of birth, which we often forget in our biomedical world. So lightness is the opposite of control. And from the momentous Big Bang of conception, that wondrous moment where egg meets sperm, however it's done, it can be done in vitro as well. The cells that make the embryo all the way to the positioning of the fetus from birth, this can be nurtured by the mother and with using the resources of yoga. It can be done primarily with the breath awareness. And then when we breathe consciously, we recruit the parasympathetic mode of the nervous system, and that makes us produce happy hormones, the opposite of cortisol that was detected in the bloodstream of the babies born from 9/11 Tower disaster. So we need this anti-stress, anti-cortisol practices, and we have them. We can do them every day in simple practices on the mat and off the mat. So I would like to invite you to connect with the heart and the womb, and men have a womb space as well, because fathers are increasingly involved in the nurture of their fetuses through pregnancy and then the care of their babies. So it's truly a co-parenting process if a birthing partner are happy to do this together. So the heart is not only a pump, we know that it's a neuroendocrine system and that it connects, of course, to the oxytocin produced in the womb for birth. This resonates with the whole system of yoga, the apana value that releases for birth. So self-nurture through this very simple laying of the hands. If you lay your left hand on the heart and your right hand on the womb, you start feeling calmer. You start feeling that you can breathe more slowly and perhaps more rhythmically. And then your heart starts creating the rhythm that you will need to start nurturing yourself and your baby and your family. So it's a pleasurable practice because we are creatures of pleasure and we need to do things that make us feel good. And breathing well, relaxing, makes us feel good. And finding rhythms make us feel good. So at Birthlight, we have moved from adapting asanas to all the practices of mudra, breath, pranayama, and also all the pratyahara that can be done so easily in our lives, in our very busy lives. And then as we embody this growth of this baby, we start relating, we start having a relationship with this baby, and the baby responds, the fetus responds, and we know that 4-month-old fetuses can already respond, even though they don't have the memory in their brain, the memory system. They have another way of being conscious. And with science and with the yoga wisdom that is 3,000-4,000 year old, together we can help women enjoy their pregnancies and their babies, and in between perhaps have a much better birth experience. And even if you have a cesarean, it can be a wonderful birth, very connected with the baby. So whether you have anesthesia or not, of course it's better if you can do it without it, but yoga helps making a bridge from pregnancy to being a mother and being a parent together. And we're not trying to copy Gita Iyengar, who did wonderful headstands at 39 weeks of pregnancy. No, we're just relaxing and breathing calmly and making rhythms. And I would like to share with you a little video of a simple Indian dance that we have adapted for pregnancy and that reconnects us with the ancient cultures where women worked hard in the fields maybe, or in gardens, or walked in beautiful gardens if they were very powerful and rich princesses. But we can all be princesses in rose gardens if we use yoga in pregnancy. So I will share my screen with you and show you this little video clip. Hopefully will work. So maybe not. maybe with this, not today, but you can find it on our website. It's called Indian Dances for Pregnancy, and there is nice rhythm and music, and it's very easy to join. And the obstetrician who presents the dances was inspired to do this with me because she gave birth to her first baby, age 42, at home after having terrible pelvic instability during her pregnancy. And the dance that are actually from her tradition in Sri Lanka helped us to stabilize her pelvis. So we can do this with yoga dance, we can do this with yoga asanas as well. And the rhythm creates joy. So we have the breath for the parasympathetic nervous system, the relaxation, and also the yoga adapted on chairs and in dance to make it accessible to all women, with whatever their walk of life, whatever their level of fitness. So what we cultivate all the time is the kernel of Ananda. So if Ananda, the joy, the source of joy, which is the goal of yoga, the outcome of unity consciousness, if we have this from conception, of course we can blossom in life. And babies help their parents to blossom in life. So first we give and then they give. And we co-give and mutually receive the abundance and the wonders of what life can offer, even in the worst of the world crisis. So this is my very simple message: centering, relaxing, breath awareness, rhythm can probably create a better world.
Thank you very much, Francis G. I'm sure the message that you delivered to our audience about how to reduce cortisols and what practices can help us to have increased oxytocin, and how various forms of Indian dances can contribute into creating a happiness hormone and anandam, and the mention of 9/11, how it impacted the children, the infant in the womb. It was really very significant thing that you said. Certainly, by our children will be the parents tomorrow. So this contribution will certainly be very significant in creating a better world. Thank you very much, Francis G, for sharing your thoughts and details.
Namaste.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Ms. Francois Barbara Friedman for coming on to the platform of United Consciousness. Thank you so much. Ms. Caroline Van Den Hill. She's an adult psychiatrist and a family and systematic psychotherapist. In 1995, she started to study neurosciences at Brandeis University. She has been working at the Brussels Night Hospital, specialized in the psychosocial rehabilitation of patients suffering from chronic psychotic disorder. She shares the vision and the human being should be regarded in all their dimensions: biological, psychological, spiritual, and ecological. She has been studying and practicing Buddhist meditation.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me for this event. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about meditation and mental illness. Why the subject of mental illness? Well, according to the WHO, mental health is becoming an increasing problem worldwide. Especially since the COVID pandemic, we see mental health distress increasing. We know that in industrialized countries, 1 out of 4 people will experience lifetime prevalence of mental illness, and these numbers are increasing. In younger people, we see those numbers going up even more. It is even said that in the US population, half of the people will experience mental health issues, which is a very high number. Depression is the leading cause of mental health problems. Of course, there are other problems too. And suicide is the 4th leading cause of death among 15 to 29-year-olds worldwide. and second leading cause in Europe and the US. So severe mental illness, people with severe mental illness, so that includes people with really serious mental health issues, they also die prematurely 2 decades earlier than the average of the age cohort. So 20 years earlier. So that's really a very high number. It's because of suicide, of course, but also because of other comorbid pathologies. Then we see actually that we see the numbers are really increasing and are really alarming. On the other hand, in most countries, access to effective treatment still remains very low. Why is that? Stigma is still very high everywhere. We cannot say that certain countries don't have stigma for mental illness. There is low or no government health funds for mental health compared to other health issues in most of the countries. And people from low to middle income groups have difficult access to effective treatments. It's too expensive for them. So this is where we stand at. So what can we do to solve all those problems? And that's where, of course, mindfulness, most of you already heard of that, was developed in the 1990s by John Kabat-Zinn. He developed mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, MBCT, inspired from Zen Buddhism, which he was practicing himself. He saw the positive effects on stress and wanted to apply those methods on his patients, which were suffering from stress-related issues. And so, of course, he took out the religious vocabulary, and the goal of mindfulness became not to enlighten people, but to help them increase their mental well-being. And this has been very successful. Meanwhile, there has been many articles published showing the evidence of mindfulness for problems related to stress and depression. So why would that be that mindfulness is so efficient? It is even said that, for example, for depression, it's as useful as taking antidepressive medication, but you don't have the side effects of antidepressive medication. And mindfulness has been developed in the CBT, so in cognitive behavioral therapy. Well, previous cognitive behavioral therapy was focused on symptom reduction. So it was based on this idea of learning theory. The idea of cognitive behavioral therapy is we want to change behavior. And by how to do that? Well, we try to change the cognitions so that the behavior will change too. So one of the most famous cognitive behavior therapy interventions is called exposure. For example, let's say someone has a spider phobia or an elevator phobia. Well, we expose that person to spiders or elevators as much as possible. And so in the end, they will get used to have a spider in the hand, for example, and at one point learn that the spider is not that dangerous and be less afraid of the spider. Well, the problem with that, well, it's a very efficient approach, but the problem with that is that many people with phobias are just too afraid for exposure, and so they won't dare to do it. So exposure, you need a lot of courage to do it, and sometimes people are just not ready for that. And it also other cognitive behavioral therapies interventions were too much focused on changing behavior. Another approach, which is very famous, has been used for, now more than a century. For more than a century, psychoanalytic approaches. So the psychoanalytic approach will be different than CBT. The idea here is to find the origin of the trauma behind the phobia, for example, or behind the stress or the depression. And the person will take a psychoanalytic therapy, which might last for many months, years, to help to understand the origin of the trauma in the childhood. But we see in reality that it's very interesting and very nice. I'm not saying that it's not working, but for many people, when they even can really identify the trauma in a rational way, they can see where it comes from. it will not help remove their anxiety and remove their symptoms. They are still struggling. And that is because we as human beings, we are emotional beings before we are being rational beings, and we need to work on those emotions. And this is where mindfulness comes, and mindfulness is an approach that is non-judgmental. So the person looks at his or her emotions, looks at them in a non-judgmental way, and accepts the emotions, whatever they are, that come into that they feel here and now. So they are also learning to really be aware of what's going on right now in their bodies, in their minds, because as we all know, many emotions express themselves as bodily sensations, and so feeling those sensations, giving the time to look at them instead of running away from them, really helps to learn to identify them and really also understand, okay, when I feel my heart beat faster, that means that I'm more stressed, and things like that. And so in our society, we are actually learning to flee from negative and uncomfortable emotions, and mindfulness meditation does the opposite. Actually, it says, okay, instead of running away from them, let's look at them just as they are and not judge them, and let's look at our emotions in a compassionate way. And we also don't need to react immediately on them. So what we see is people with mental illness, many of them, they have emotions and they react immediately to them. They feel bad and they do something to stop feeling bad. For example, they'll start eating because they feel stressed. They start eating, and so they eat, and then they have it can give eating disorders, or they can go and buy stuff to feel better. So we have been taught a lot to be very reactive in to things and very impulsive. And thanks to meditation and mindfulness, we unlearn those reactions of reacting immediately to uncomfortable emotions that we have. So, of course, there is a lot of scientific evidence that shows that mindfulness is helpful for many problems with mental health. But what we should be aware of is that I'm always saying mindfulness because that's the most studied approach in mental health settings. But of course, we can expand it to many forms of meditations, be them like mindfulness-based things, but also based on spiritual traditions. But the thing is that we should be aware of, for example, is that the practice of meditation, we should be aware not to do it all the time at any part. For example, someone who is highly suicidal, I will not advise that person to do some meditations at that moment, because he will look at all his suicide wishes and how bad he feels, might increase even his feeling of worthlessness, because and might increase the risk of going after the meditation to really commit suicide. So the advice is also always to wait after an acute episode when the person is recovering to then gently start doing meditations, or even if the person is really doing well and wants to prevent relapses, then learning how to meditate is really indicated. But during a dangerous phase, I would not recommend doing meditations. So there's a lot of evidence on what we call classically the neurotic problems, everything that has to do with anxiety, stress, depression. But what about psychosis? Usually mindfulness is not recommended for people with psychotic problems, because it is said it will increase the risk of psychosis. It's especially true for when the people are doing long meditations. And when I say long, I mean half an hour, 45 minutes. For many people, that's a long time. It's for them, if there is no feedback, we can say there is a risk of more sensory deprivation. And sensory deprivation will increase symptoms. So that's why, there have been experiments where they put people in sensory deprivation settings for a few days, so with no light, no sound, and no stimuli from the external environment. And everybody, even people with, most of the people with no history of mental illness, at one point people start to hallucinate, start to have psychotic experiences. So after 3 days, most of the people are in a psychotic state, in a sensory deprivation setting. And so for people with psychotic illness, with schizophrenia or other illnesses where psychosis is involved, of course, if you they're more sensitive to sensory deprivation. So putting them on long meditation retreats or sessions will increase the sensory deprivation and might increase the psychotic symptoms. And so that's why we should be very aware. And I think it's a good thing to not allow those people into long retreats like Vipassana retreats or things like that, because it will trigger more psychotic problems. But does that mean that people with psychosis cannot meditate? I don't think so, because I meditate with my psychotic patients, because I have many, because that's my specialization, I have many people who suffer from psychotic illness. So what do I do with them? Well, I do short meditations, less than 10 minutes. We see each other in group once a month, where we discuss together our experiences, so people can normalize also hearing what their experiences from one another are. And the idea is to try to do it every day for 10 minutes, not more than that. And what we do is very simple, just mindful breathing. And if people start to hear voices, because my patients hallucinate, even outside of meditations. So when they hear the voices, it's also like in mindfulness, is accept those voices without reacting to them, and just watching them like they're watching a movie, and accepting, well, even when you watch a movie can sometimes be stressful and sometimes can be very emotional, but it's just a movie. We know it's a movie. And so look at those voices and hear them without reacting immediately to them, because my patients are sometimes so afraid of their voices that they will adapt their behavior to not be annoyed by the voices. And so, of course, if it becomes too bad, I tell them you just stop the meditation and you go for a walk and you do something else. Then it's better to distract yourself with something else. So we shouldn't force things when it becomes too scary. So meditations which involve visualizations are also not very recommended for people with psychotic sensitivity, because it might increase their psychotic symptoms. And it's also important to reassure them very regularly, to say that things are going well, that they're doing fine, what they see is normal, what they hear is normal, and that they shouldn't be afraid, and that we are there to help them. And so the meditation for people with psychosis, the feedback I receive from my patients is also what I thought what was going to happen. It's not reducing their psychotic symptoms, they still have them, but at least it reduces the anxiety that goes with them, and it also teaches them to disconnect their behavior. So even though they hear voices that yell at them and are very scary, they will not, their behavior will not immediately react on that to reduce this fear. They will accept those voices more easily. So they're very happy to do those meditations. So to conclude, I want to say that in this modern world with increasing mental distress, slowing down can be very helpful for our mental health and to keep our mental health at a normal, good level. And meditation can be used as a cheap and accessible way to cope with mental distress. You don't need to go through expensive treatments for that. However, good professional guidance is necessary in certain cases. We should be aware of the risk and the dangers and find suitable meditations for specific patients. We should not give any meditation for anyone. And so in practice, I find that my patients who meditate regularly have started this for mental health, for improving their mental health, but now they are continuing this to use this as a more spiritual path. So it's like their mental health issues was actually the first step to a spiritual practice, and they have stopped seeing, well, I'm not saying all of them, but some of them have really, now they see this as their mental health issues as a first step to a spiritual path, and so as something not so negative as it was in the past for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Caroline. So specifically, scientifically, and clearly, simply also, you narrated that mental illness may be one of the biggest pandemic in the future, and how it is increasing in number at various parts of the world. And in many of the countries, we heard about gun or shootouts in the schools. This is also connected with mental health only. And you suggested meditation as a strong tool, but you also gave us some cautions to understand which kind of meditation suits to what need. And you also mentioned that how psychosis, people with psychosis, should not be given visualization meditation and other different things also you mentioned that were very important. You also mentioned about mindfulness based cognitive therapy. I'm sure that people who are watching this talk will certainly be benefited. United Consciousness looks forward to work with you in this field under your guidance for public good. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank
Caroline.
you.
Yes,
Thank
so
you.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Ms. Caroline Windham Hugh for coming onto the platform of United Consciousness. Thank you so much. On behalf of United Consciousness, I feel delighted to welcome our next guest, Ms. Nati Diop, a yogini, dancer, and a citizen of the world. Coming from multiculturalism, her personality has been shaped by integrating differences as a source of wealth. In a holistic search, she turned to yoga from the tradition of Kashmir Shaivism that she has been teaching since 2010. Her approach allows the connection to self through movement and breathing in an energetic circulation in the body, mind, spirit entity. Her approach is a part of wisdom of ancient traditions, and the free expression of her being allows her to connect to the universal that is in each of us while being in her authenticity. She takes her place in the world and experience life. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Nati Diop.
Namaste. Stand up, please. We can start a little practice yoga around Viparita Karani near Salamba Sarvangasana. So please inspire slowly and raise your arms. Go down, expire, and relax your back. Down and look to the sky. Your ball and relax your back. Inspire, raise your arm to the side, expire. Once time again, same. Breathe slowly with conscience. Relax your back and your shoulders. Straight your legs and relax your back. Inspire. Raise your arms and to the side. Expire slowly. Once again. Prana is circulating in the body with your breath. Connecting with your breath, your movements are slow and inconscious. Open your hands, close your eyes, and feel now. Feeling inside your body and your mind relax. When you fit, raise your hands in the side and cross your legs, your fingers. Expand. Relax your ball. Then put your hands to the sky and relax the arm to the side. Finger cross and tuck in the belly. Relax your neck. Inspire, hands in the back, shoulders back. Look to the sky. Come in horizontally place and relax your back. Inspire, your arms rise to the sky. Expire, your arms come back to your lower back. Inspire, rise your arms and start again. Expire. Inspire and expire. Preparing. Cross your finger and expire. Tuck the belly. Relax your neck. Put your arms in your lower back and shoulders. Open your shoulders. Look to the sky. Horizontally pose and relax your back. Inspire, rise your arms. Expire, put your arms in your back. Again, come to the sky. Expire, connecting with your breath slowly, with conscience. Prana is circulating in your body and in your mind. Last time, we will finish. Raise your arms last time and to Anahata Chakra. Expand. Relax your arms. Open your chest. Breathe slowly with conscience. And feel. Raise your arms. Open your chest, inspire. Come back. And expire, come to the ground. Relax your back and put your hands to your elbows. One breath. Inspire and expire. And come to the ground. Put your knees on the ground. The cat and the cow. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Expire. Come back to the ground, to the cat, and to the cow. And sit and elevate your bowl. Extend your legs. Relax your back and inspire. Look in front of you and relax. Raise your body and arms and open your chest. A big sun in your chest. One more time. Inspire. Raise your arms. Open chest. Come to the ground. If you need, you can put your knees like this and put your hands to your elbow. Relax your neck. Relax your mind. One breath. And come to the ground to do the cat and to do the cow. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Push in the ground and elevate your bowl. Extend your legs and your back. Come back to the ground. Inspire the cat. Inspire the cow. Come back to sit and elevate your bowl. Extend your legs. Relax your back. Hands in the ground or to the knees. To vertical back. Horizontal back, sorry. And relax. Now raise all the body and arms. And open chest. Open your arms. Expire. Last time. Inspire. Open chest. Expire. Come to the ground. Relax your back. Put the hand in the elbow. Relax the neck, the face. And come to the ground. Do the cat. Inspire. And to do the cow. Expire. Tuck the belly. Now, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Extend your legs, your back. Push in the ground and come back. Shoulder, knees, and cat. Inspire. Cow. Come sit. And stand up like this. Relaxing your arms, your face. First, putting horizontally your back and relax again. Now rise up slowly with conscience. Open chest. Relax arms and come feel now. Breathe slowly. You can feel all your body connecting with the ground and with sky, and the energy circulating in your body. Lay down, please, now in your mat. Put your hands in the ground. Legs coming outside, and put your hands in your back. Halasana. Relax your neck. Breathe slowly with conscience. Put your heel in your back and your knees to the sky. Raise your legs, extend your legs to the sky, and breathe. Breathe slowly with conscience. Relax your face, relax your neck. Salamba Sarvangasana. Relax your perineum and all your belly. Now put your feet in diagonal pose, Viparita Karani, and stay like this a few minutes. Conscience to Ajna chakra between eyes in the front. Ajna chakra. Breathe slowly. Your toes are relaxing. We are blocking Amrit, the nectar of immortality, in your brain. We are activating Agni, the fire of the belly, to clean all impurities of the body, of the mind. Breathe slowly. And feel. Viparita Karani Hara Hara Chandra Surya Viparita Karani Hara Hara Chandra Surya Viparita Karani Hara Hara Chandra Surya Viparita Karani Hara Hara Chandra Surya. Extend your legs to the sky. Salamba Sarvangasam. Put your heel back, your knees to your face slowly, your feet to the ground. Put your hand to the ground and your head come to your knees. Your head to your knees, head to your knees. Slowly come back and you can come back to lay down. Extend the body, breath and feel. Keep the extend body. We will do Matsyasana, the fish pose. You can cross your legs, put your hands outside your back and come to sit to your hand, in your hand. Slowly, you can look forward you, push in your elbow and come to touch the ground with Sahasrara chakra. You will breathe in your belly and your chest with conscience. Now your head, rise your head slowly. Look and come to the ground. Again to lay down. And feel all your body relaxing with energy to start your day. Let the prana circulating in all the body. You can stay lay down or coming to sit in a meditation pose. Your Shushumna Nadi. Breathe into your Shushumna Nadi. Bring your energy to upside. You can put your hand on the back, on the side, sorry. Rise arms and come to the vibration of mantra, Om mantra. 2 times. Connecting with ground, connecting with sky, and coming to Anahata chakra. Open chest, open mind, relax. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Natiji.
Thank
The
you.
passion and precision with which you conducted and guided us through practical yogasana was highly commendable. I'm sure that all the viewers will certainly be benefited. Thank you very much for blessing us today with your
Thank
yoga.
you. Good morning.
Thank you very
Namaste.
much.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Ms. Natty Diop for coming onto the platform of United Consciousness. Thank you so much. I feel delighted to invite Mr. Omkara Varis. Originally is a pilot by profession and airline captain. In 1995, he has done his yoga teacher diploma from Shivananda Yoga Vedanta Dhanvantri Ashram, India. From 1996 to 2020, he is working as a founding director of Shivananda Yoga Center and Ashram in Hungary. He also visited Shivananda Ashram Rishikesh. In 2007, he became founding president of Hungarian Yoga Teachers Association, and in 2020, he became honorary president of Hungarian Yoga Teachers Association.
Namaste. Thank you for being here. My name is Omkara, as you heard it. And today I wish to talk about holistic well-being through yoga. Not an easy question, because we are different. We need different ways. We are on different levels. And today, when I decided what to talk about, maybe it sounds a little bit egoistic, but my 70 years may be a lesson for many others, because during these 70 years, I made maybe some good things, but also many mistakes. I wish to talk a little bit about this topic. I was very young when I lost my father, later my mother, and I felt that nobody can help me. I am alone, and since that time, I'm still alone. I have friends, I have family, I have children, I have grandchildren, and that since 12 when I was 12 years old, I remained alone, and I am still alone, and this is the greatest present in my life. As I told you, I was also young, and I had dreams. I wanted to be a pilot, and I felt that I can help only on myself, because there is nobody outside who can help me. I was 14 years old when I became a glider pilot, and I was 15 when I flew alone in the air without instructor the first time. Then later on, I became flight instructor on a college to train the future pilots, became member of the Hungarian acrobatic pilot team. We made fantastic figures, vertically up and down. And then came a new dream to be an airline pilot. Then, after a few years, I became a first officer at an airline. Then when I was an airline pilot, I was very happy. In a few years, Europe Africa and many, many cities, airports under my legs, I became very proud. I wanted to be a captain because the captain is the person who is the boss in the air. He's the boss of the crew. He is boss of the cabin crew, the stewardesses. So it was the new challenge. Then the career went go and go. I became first an instructor pilot on a passenger plane, then later a test pilot, and then something happened. I became sick. I lost my health. I was lying in a hospital and prepared for a surgical operation. Unfortunately, the surgical operation was unsuccessful. I was at the top of my career. I had family, everything what someone needs, car, and so on. Then I felt again very, very alone when the doctors told they cannot help me anymore. So I went to a friend who was an atomic physicist, and he told me, as I see your way of life, you don't have more than 6 months in this life. I got very sorrowful, and then came the yoga in my life. I started yoga with great inspiration, but the success was very slow. Sometimes I felt very proudly I overcome my illness, but the blood again started to run out of my body. Then again and again, practice and practice. And after many years, I got back my health. I got back what I couldn't buy for my money. I decided to pay as much as I can for the doctors, whiskeys, Napoleon cognacs, and everything which was worse for my health. My life was full of mistakes. I was great meat eater. I didn't sleep too much, sometimes 2-3 hours. I flew a lot. I was together with my friends, drinking whiskey, cognac, and all the other enjoyable things. So my greatest present in this life is yoga. I appreciate India. I appreciate the wise men who took yoga to the Western world. Without it, this speech cannot be held today. I'm not so proud of me. Very simple, I wanted to show you that everyone has a choice in his life to choose the way back to life, or maybe you lose your life. After practicing many years, I continued flying, and I have still worldly dreams to become a long-range airline captain, and that was another good solution, because for many years I learned yoga from books. And when I started these long-range flights, one day, anyway, I was crossing the Atlantic Ocean 726 times. Maybe it's enough. And one day when I arrived New York, I visited the Shivananda Yoga Center. I visited many yoga centers, and all the yoga centers was good teachers. But at the Shivananda Yoga Center, I felt I arrived home. It happened at 1993, many years ago. After practicing in the yoga center a few years, the center director asked me to become a yoga teacher. I told him with great ego, it's impossible to be a yoga teacher. I have no time for that and such things. My family doesn't allow to go to India for yoga teacher training course. And he told me that these obstacles are only in one place, in your mind. And surprisingly, after a few months, I was sitting on the Boeing 747 of the Air India to India to yoga teachers training course. This teachers training course was another big change in my life. During the course, I learned more than the previous 6 years, because we practiced every day. The whole day was about yoga. If we see that what is our today's topic, holistic well-being through yoga, we are, as I told, we are not the same level, all of us. We are on different levels, and as yoga teachers, we need to help people on their own level. That's the reason that there are yoga teachers, and to learn yoga from video, to learn yoga from books, it's a very slow process, and maybe you make many mistakes. So this was the second great present, to become a yoga teacher, and in the same time I continued flights. And I learned how to heal myself. I learned how to relax, how to have deep relaxation through 3 layers of relaxation practice. I learned the asanas. I was not young at that age, over 40, but I started from the beginning. And asanas give me a very flexible body. And in the beginning, I didn't want to meditate. because I told that I'm not a religious minded person. I am an engineer. I don't need such things. I don't want to sing. Again, many months, many years happened, and I understood the meaning of meditation and the meaning of singing. All of them very good means to have a healthy, physically and mentally healthy body and mind. I started also to practice pranayama. Pranayama was also a great tool to increase my energy level. And one day I understood that it is time to understand, why am I here on this earth? Why do I have so many bad qualities and some good qualities? And I understood that I am playing my own play through the karma. And I have always choices what to do and what not to do. This practice gave me the choice to be happy and with controlled mind when I had an adversity during the flight. We made emergency landings on a New York flight, and you need a very clear-cut mind. There are many passengers behind you. You have not too much time to decide how to land. But yoga helped me to land successfully, to make not mistakes in the adverse situation. So what my message to anyone is not my message. It is the message of my teachers, all teachers who has given yoga to Hungary, to the Western world. And it is very important to understand that if we are learning for 5-7 years in a university, maybe the life of university a little bit longer, but it's a wonderful play if you play consciously, if you understand that the main reason you are here to find your way back, to find your way back to home, to find the answers. Why are you here? If I'm teaching my students, or if I'm teaching to managers, the first thing I wanted to catch their present understanding. And I don't tell them, do enlightenments. What I do, try to understand their problems and first help him how to lead a happy, healthy way, as I got from my teachers. Hari Om.
Thank you very much, Omkaraji. And the way you mentioned, all obstacles are there in the mind itself. It reminds me of somebody saying that my life appears to me as a big obstacle race, in which me being the biggest obstacle. So you shared your whole life journey. It inspires all of us that how finally into the self you get the final peace, and how step by step you can proceed towards self. Thank you very much, Omkaraji, for blessing us in today's program. Thank you.
On behalf of
Namaste.
United Consciousness, I thank Mr. Omkara Varis for coming onto the platform of United Consciousness. Today's modern life patterns affects one's life physically and mentally, thereby affecting their family, life causing pain and suffering to others. Yoga shows us the way to achieve balance between physical and mental well-being. To attain peace and harmony, let's have a panel discussion on the topic Yoga and New World Order. Our next guest is from Ukraine, Mr. Andrei Meshchenko. He practices yoga, Lam, Raj Yoga, and integrated his experience gained in yoga practices into everyday life. His understanding, worldview, and interaction with the world and with himself in this world has changed a lot. He has developed a better understanding about himself as a person, his physiology, and his interaction with the world. Our next guest is Ms. Sheena Patel, born into an Indian culture in Lusaka, Zambia. She has been educated in schools and universities across several countries. She lived with humans as well as wild animals. For the last 17 years, she is studying yoga with gurus in the East and doctors turned yogis in the field of trauma and brain CNS in the West. Yoga has created a sort of magic in her life. She lived in Cabo Verde, where she shared the knowledge of yoga and sound from the podium of the mat with the written words to create change in most powerful place on this planet within humans.
I feel great pleasure in introducing Mr. Gaston Bacani, who is sharing his views on the topic Feeling Technology, Dance Through Life. Gaston was born in Argentina and living in Berlin for 20 years. He has studied from University of Católica, Argentina. He has his expertise in the mastering of emotional integration and creator of the Feeling Technology to transform your uncomfortable emotions into inner power. His project, Sharing Clarity, has been shared in 12 countries in 4 languages. Gaston has worked on his physical body to increase his level of energy and new pranic level. He has participated in 3 half marathons, 2 Olympic triathlons, and practiced acrobatics. He also received 5 golden badges from the German Olympic Association. He shares his personal experience around the world in Spanish, German, Italian, and English. Transform life through emotions.
In the panel, we have with us Ms. Amra Kubert. She is graduated from the Faculty of Economics in Sarajevo, majoring in marketing, and she attended various training seminars on recreational sports, rehabilitation, and personal development. She is registered yoga teacher with Yoga Alliance. She teaches Reiki methods of natural healing, yoga, and meditation. She passes a passion and the great joy to her students while practicing and living yoga. This is a mission and she feels rewarded while teaching and learning with her students. Today's panel discussion will be moderated by Dr. Vikrant Singh Tobar, Convener United Consciousness. Dr. Tomar is an acknowledged trainer, academician, scholar, writer, and a management consultant. He's a freelance trainer and served the cabinet ministers of state, MLAs, police officers, and tycoons of the business world. His aim and objective is universal brotherhood and happiness through harmonizing the knowledge from the ancient scriptures into our lives. So I welcome all our guests for panel discussion.
Namaste, Gaston-ji. We acknowledge your presence. Namaste, Andrew-ji. Namaste, Sheena-ji. Namaste, Amra-ji.
Namaste.
Everybody is present. We also acknowledge presence of our viewers who are watching us from different parts of the world. Dear friends, I welcome you in today's panel discussion on contribution of yoga in creating a better world around us. Dear friends, world always have many concerns. Since the inception of society, since the inception of modern human beings, there has been many concerns. 21st century has come up with its own concerns. So we have our panel of experts who will let us know what are the major concerns of the world today and how can we deal with that. So I'll come to Amraji. Amraji, what do you think are the two major concerns of the world today?
Oh, nowadays we face a very challenging time as different problems are emerging in various areas of human race as everything is speeded up and easily accessible. But paradoxically, everything is more and more superficial. Let me explain. The technology which should make our lives easier, it actually made us slaves. The economical improvements made us miserable and led us to destruction of natural resources, and we are in front of ecological disasters. The recent pandemic showed us a vast recovery of the nature when the humans slow down. We live in a very paradoxical time where it seems that education is better, but actually it is superficial without true purpose. We are all connected, but actually disconnected and far from each other. We have more, but we have less, as we are not truly happy and content with what we have, and we want even more and more. The information is easily available, but there is not true knowledge and truth. These examples can just go on wherever we stretch the surface. From this perspective, I think that the biggest threat is the world hunger on a global scale, as created circumstances included this state, included pandemic, conflicts, etc., etc. However, the real problem, which appears to be hidden in all the perturbations in the world, is actually a lack of self-awareness and lack of the connection with the nature, with our true self. Therefore, I think that yoga can help in order to reveal us the path towards us and root cause of the problems.
Thank you, Amraji, for setting the context for the discussion. She listed lots of very significant concerns of the world today. She said too much of consumerism, and we are the most intelligent and least happy species on the planet. Such a irony. So we have Andriji from Ukraine. Andriji, what do you see as the biggest concern of the world today?
Главной проблемой, я считаю, главной проблемой, давайте мы сначала сделаем маленькое отступление.
Let's make.
Ну, чуть-чуть отойдем в сторону.
Let's talk about a little aside this theme.
Что такое йога? В моем понимании йога – это природная способность человека.
What the yoga is? In my understanding, yoga is the natural ability of the human
Тренировать свое сознание.
To form the mind
посредством соединения с информацией.
In case of connecting with the information.
Информация может быть разной.
The information can be different.
Есть на уровне слов, вербально, то, как мы разговариваем и понимаем друг друга.
It can be in the level of words, how do we speak and how do we understand each other.
Этим всем управляет наш функциональный ум.
It is led by the functional mind.
Также у нас есть чувственно-интуитивная связь, с которой мы рождаемся и которая стоит выше по иерархии, чем функциональный ум.
Also, we have the sensual intuitive connection. It is the connection that we are born with, and it is more important than the functional.
То есть тело понимает чувства, а не мысли.
So, the body understands feelings, but not the thoughts.
Это только маленькая часть из того, что я постараюсь максимально описать.
It's just a little part of what I want to tell you.
Okay.
Сейчас идет огромная, на самом деле сейчас идет уже давно Третья мировая война.
It's For a long time now is going the third world war.
Это война информационная.
It's the war called informational.
Так как люди соединяются с информацией, каждый человек является йогом.
Every person has the connection with the information. In this case, every human is yogin.
Но не каждый умеет управлять вот этим соединением с информацией.
But not everyone have the know how to rule with this connection.
И этот инструмент у него работает хаотично.
And this instrument is working chaotic.
Andrewji, if I may in between, understanding what you mentioned about the functional connection that we have with ourselves, as Andrewji mentioned about yoga is the connection of intuitive connection that we have with our own self. Connecting
Yes.
with the point that you said, I would come to Sheena ji, and I will come back to you again, Andrewji, for further discussion in the topic after setting the context. So I'll come to Sheena ji with this question that Amra ji mentioned lot of problems and the concerns that world is facing today. Andre ji mentioned that the basic connection that we need to have with is the connection of me with myself. How do you fit in yoga in between these problems of the world we have? I was listening to your introduction. In your childhood, you had connection with animals also. So where do you see yoga fitting in between these major concerns of the world today?
Namaste. I'm just going to try and move me to a little more place of light because I realize I am light and dark.
Yes.
That might be better. So I'm going to give another perspective. And what I believe is that the problems that they are both talking about are problems that have always existed. There will always be slavery, technology, disconnection, and it's the same problems in different uniforms. The problem is us, the human. And where yoga is important is yoga comes back to the human. The human is the source of every problem. It is not an app. It is not social media. It is none of those things. It is us. And I thought a lot about this question this last couple of weeks. And in the beginning, I started large. It was we're unconnected to animals. You know, animals speak. Animals are a part of us. In loving an animal and understanding an animal, we understand ourselves. And that the human does not see itself as part of nature. When we speak about nature, we almost speak as if it is something that is not part of us. And we don't see ourselves as a species. But that was like a huge topic. So I came down a little, and I think the fundamental problem with the human in today's world is attachment. We have attached to everything external to us and identified ourselves with everything external to us. And therefore, we're like a roller coaster. We're happy, we're sad, we're angry, we're anxious. It's crazy in here. And so yoga is important to teach us to unattach from everything external to us, and which I'm sure Mr. Gaston is going to speak about is from our emotions, because one of the biggest things that we attach to is our emotions. We think we are our emotions, and we don't hold space for our emotions to move through us, to sit and witness and understand where it came from, and just allow it to move through us. So where yoga, I feel, is important is that most people in today's modern world begin yoga on a mat. And so I think it is really important for teachers when they put someone on a mat is to guide them through yoga on the mat, because every pose is yoga. You have to accept it. You have to surrender to it. You have to move through it. You have to unattach from the pose and be aware and witness yourself. Feel, acknowledge what is going through you, and then allow it to move through you. So in like one small word, which means something very big, it is the human. It is our
Thank you.
attachment
Thank you. Thank
to
you.
everything.
So Sheena ji tried to filter down to the concerns that were raised, that yes, if you see all the problems we have on the planet today, may it be hunger, may it be war, may it be economical disparity, may it be lots of consumerism, may it be anything. If you dig down into any problem, you'll find human. And the concern with humans she mentioned is attachment. So let's connect from here and ask from Gestunji. Gestunji, are humans the problem of the planet or the solutions of the planet?
Hi, thank you. I think that we are in the planet. We are not the problem and we are not the solution. We are part of a bigger organism. And what we need to understand is that we need to reconnect all together to vibrate all in harmony. And adding what our colleagues said before is that one of the point that I feel is that we cannot connect with our true self because of our subconscious mental structures, and because we cannot go with the mind in the subconscious. It's not possible. So that is why we need to utilize the body, and that is here where with yoga can help. So all the yoga practitioners are very aware of the body, and for me, that is why I love to work on that in this feeling technology, in these 7 steps to understand how the mental structures are saved in our subconscious and how we can utilize the body to reconnect them and to open again all this mental structure, and the energy, the prana, can start to flow in our body. So for me, it's important to learn how to integrate an emotion, not to delete it, not to cancel, not to clean it, just to integrate. This is the next level of consciousness that we can utilize, and it is already access for us. And when I learn to feel my contraction in my throat, in my chest, in my stomach, my fear, my anger, my sadness with consciousness, and I allow the body do their own process, the body recalibrates itself, and then the energy flow, the same electromagnetic energy that was doing the generating the contraction, start to flow in the system. And when start to flow, start to regenerate our physical body. So this is the way that I think that we need to understand, and this is a tool that we can utilize in our spiritual practice. Whatever you do in the world, which path you have, we are human beings with this subconscious and with this body, and we need to learn how to work all together, how to integrate all the system.
Thank you. So Gastonji mentioned that we need to harmonize and integrate, and body and subconscious can be a very important tool of that integration. And he mentioned not to suppress, not to repress the emotions, but to address it. Amraji, you mentioned that lack of self-awareness and lack of connection with your true nature is one of the reasons that we are running around the things and not getting happiness anywhere. We are trying everything other than, as you said, our own true nature, understanding our true nature. So, how can yoga contribute in understanding true nature, and how, by understanding true nature, we can lead to solving the problems of the world? So, I will request you to give answer of the second question first. How understanding my true nature can help me to deal with the world better?
Whatever happens in the near future, the yoga will always help to individuals to reveal themselves. And from this point of view, to increase the global level of consciousness, I would like to remember us at this point that we all influence each other, and that positive change or revelation in one person influence in all humanity. To To be more concrete, I would like to mention Patanjali, who introduced the 8 limbs of yoga, which is direct path towards self-awakening. Moreover, I see the biggest importance in the first parts, yama and niyama. For me, just as it was for Patanjali, this is essential. This is the fundamental of our evolution. Also, I think that we lack experience in them the most when anything goes wrong in our lives. We should always come back to yama and niyama, and by studying them, we can understand where we made mistakes and how to overcome the created situation.
Thank you. Ambraji mentioned that a world, how yoga can contribute in dealing with these problems of the world. She mentioned yama and niyamas are to be followed strictly. Yamas are my responsibility towards others, ahimsa, satya, asteya, and niyamas are my self-discipline, my responsibility towards self. So when I'm responsible towards self and surrounding, majority of the problems of the world will cease to exist. And this is how she answers that yoga can contribute in dealing with these problems of the world. Now I'll come to Andreji with my first question. Andreji, it becomes so difficult. Now we know the problem statement. Now we know the solution statement also. The problem statement Amraji mentioned. Solution statement, we got to know that yama and niyamas can also be one of the ways through which we can reach to the solution. Yamas and niyamas are so good to listen to. Speak the truth, never do violence on others. But why we can't execute it? Why we can't live it? So can you suggest our audience how to live yama and niyamas to make a better world?
Прежде всего нужно понять свою суть, почувствовать свою суть, понять, чем является человек.
First of all, we need to feel ourselves to understand what the human truly is.
И яма не яма – это действительно закон сбережения энергии в человеке.
And yama niyama is truly the law of the keeping energy of the human.
То есть энергия не разбрасывается навне.
So the energy is keeping inside, not flowing uncontrolled.
Плюс, так как все мы соединяемся с определенного рода информацией, разного рода.
Plus, as we are connecting with information different kinds.
Плюс в этом всем функциональный.
Plus, the functional mind is included in this process.
Не стоит забывать, что функциональный ум – это инструмент, которым мы пользуемся, а не управляющий орган.
Don't let us forget that the functional mind is a tool that we are using, but not the tool that controls us.
Но так как он перетянул на себя контроль, так как функциональный ум перетянул на себя контроль, законами яма не яма жить становится очень сложно людям, потому что появляются свои желания.
But now we see that the functional mind took most of the control, and it's became difficult to live in yama niyama because the humanity has their own wishes.
И не всегда желания человека, потому что он соединяется, это не всегда желание его.
And that wishes are not always there because it can be that wishes can be connected with information that put it outside.
И человек перестает различать, где его, где не его.
And the human stop understand where is his and where is not.
Так как у нас со Вселенной связь с планетой, которая является живым существом.
And if our connection with the earth is lost,
то человеку становится даже, наверное, хуже животного. Почему? Потому что он начинает жить, накапливать.
so person in some kind becomes lower than animal because he begin living with keeping more and more things,
Машина, больше денег, больше еще чего-то.
more cars, more money, more everything.
Thank you, Andreji. Andreji mentioned that there are two types of the people probably on the planet. One, who control their mind. Second, who get controlled by the mind. And then he said that when you get controlled by the mind, you are actually controlled by the wishes. And let me tell you to the audience, wish is an English word, but there is the same word in Sanskrit also, the same pronunciation, wish, that stands for poison. Wish in Sanskrit is poison. So probably it is creating poison in the world. And this wish takes birth from attachment, which Sheenaji was talking about. When I feel attached, I have a wish either to get something or avoid any pain. And probably because of this attachment, I'm not able to live up to yamas and niyamas. So, Sheenaji, how to deal with this attachment? It is so obvious. If I do something within a couple of minutes, I feel attached. If I'm not attached, will I remain human even?
Well, I think it's an easier thing to deal with when you live in a world where you have time for you. You know, I'm very lucky. I live in an island in the middle of nowhere, so I have a lot. The problem with humans these days is we occupy ourselves continually with music. There's always noise and there's always movement, so there's no place for awareness. And only through awareness can you see your attachment. I'm going to go a little rogue here, and I'm going to offer your listeners a game that I give to my students. I ask my students to take $100 because in the human world, we're very attached to money. And I say to them, today, take your $100, and every time you lie, every time you think something harmful to get at someone, every time you have an emotion that is attached to something, give whatever you did that $5. Every time you do something good, every time you tell the truth, you do something kind, give yourself $5. And at the end of the day, see if you are in credit or debit. Because when you use money in a day, people will be like, let me think of that action. Should I give something? Should I take something? So it's a very good way to start to live yamas and niyamas, which are very important. They're huge. So not to set yourself up for failure, because really no human can go through an entire day without lying at the beginning, but also to see where you're attached and how you're attached to money, because you're going to hold on to that money and do good things because of your attachment to it. So I think that's a good place to start with awareness.
Yes, that's a great idea, in fact. She mentioned that noise is inversely proportional to awareness. Awareness is inversely proportional to noise. The more noise you have around by your five senses, you get less time for awareness. The more aware of you become, you remove the noise around. Yeah. That's nice. And second, $100 experiment she mentioned. Your value account you may like to create. Gestunji, emotions, attachment. This is what makes me human. If you tell me to be less attached, is it making me less human? And if I am attached, I have emotions, and then it becomes difficult to follow yama and niyamas. Can you tell me how I can follow yamas and niyamas and maintain my emotional balance at the same time? Because just let me add you, if I will speak the truth, I may not get the next increment. So I want to get the increment, at the same time I want to speak satya also. So how to balance different emotions in this present world?
Um, I would like to share in a wider perspective about the attachment. And for me, what is attachment? Is that when I'm running behind someone, or running to get a degree, or to get a house, or to get something, a job, or to get married, or whatever, or to be a guru, or to be an enlightenment, all these things, is because when I get all that, I am going to feel something inside of me. And this is what I'm going to feel, is to feel completed, to feel relaxed. So that is why in different cultures, different people have different carrots to follow to get this completion feeling in the body. What I invite the people is to see the attachment not as something wrong. It's just a subconscious part of me trying to catch what I didn't find inside of myself at the moment. So that is the level of consciousness. So the invitation is that if you are attached to something, and you with consciousness say, I'm not going to take it, and I feel the pain in my body, the contraction, whatever it is, in the throat, in the chest, in the stomach, whatever it is, the body sensation, I accept it. I just breathe and open myself. I just breathe and open my consciousness, and I allow this process to integrate. So feeling the lack of something, whatever it is that you have, feeling it till the end, the body readjusts and break this mental structure that I believe that I need this, and then everything starts to feel completed again. So it's much simpler as we think, but it's difficult because we need to go through the contraction, through the pain in the body. But if we go to the end, there is a moment that something happened, like look, and everything changed in the body. And this is what happened with me after a lot of years, 9 years of working with emotions, with consciousness, accepting them, feeling humble, open my body, say, here I am, please press whatever you need, surrender. The word surrender, it's very important in this case. No controlling, no utilizing the mind, just surrender with consciousness. And I open myself to whatever is happening in my system, in my world, in my universe. And what happened is, after this integration of this broken, this mental structure, the feeling of completeness appears itself. The feeling of relaxation appears itself. The emotional balance, the mental clarity, the energy and regeneration in the physical body appear itself. So that is why I changed 8 years ago the way of getting the energy, because it changed to prana only paying attention to the emotions. So the technology is there, is in our body itself. We just need to allow it to happen.
Thank you.
And yes.
So Gastonji
Okay,
mentioned that attachment has one more perspective to look at. He said, running to get something, you run to get something because you feel incomplete, sense of insufficiency. There are various carrots around and we run around it. The better way, he said, to deal with attachment is be aware about it. The moment there is a craving, be sakshi, witness it, observe it. And when you start observing, you may feel some blockages somewhere. Accept those blockages, surrender to it, and then they will get dissolved as he did. Can you do it again?
Yeah. It's like an integration.
And that is what he said is integration. And then you feel complete. And when you feel complete, the attachment will not dictate your behavior. Amraji, you started this discussion that an evolved world will be the world of yamas and niyamas, which are difficult to follow. What will be your tips to the audience to follow yamas and niyamas?
Well, as global citizens, we have power. We have power in everything, actually. And everything starting in our mind. If we are practice yoga, first we should practice yama. Yeah. So usually when we start with the yoga practice, we're starting with asanas. But I think that the most important is to practice yama. Yes, it's challenging, but it's not impossible. Step by step. We every day have some challenges in our lives, so we need to start from somewhere. Yama is a very good option for me to start to live better way of life. So maybe we can make some calendar or something like that, where we can put our progress and follow what we do in one period, 1 month or 6 months or 1 year, doesn't matter. But however, doesn't mean that we will finish with practicing yama when we reach one day very good results. It doesn't mean that we will stop with that forever because we reach the goal. We should practice that all life. There is no end.
Thank you. Amraji said that the beginning of the beautiful world will start from yamas. Start yoga practice from yamas. Andreji, very quick, in minimum words, one practical tip how to observe yama and niyama in making a beautiful world. What should be done? A practical tip.
Прежде всего, правдивость и вообще изменили бы полностью.
Not making harm and will could change the world.
Но прийти нужно, когда начинает человек практиковать йогу, он открывает всю глубину этих 10 заповедей.
When the person starts practicing yama, the whole darkness of these rules.
Вот возьмем даже такую вещь, как ахимса и насилие. Насилие в внешнем мире, так и к себе.
Ahimsa is not making harm not only to the others, to ourselves too.
И ментально тоже.
Mental in this case too.
По-моему, оставить честность перед собой, как перед всеми, так и перед собой. Вот в разговоре должна быть честность перед кем, а перед собой.
So asteya is truthfulness. In our topic, we spoke about the truthfulness to others, but not to ourselves.
А прежде всего важно перед собой. Но к этому каждый человек – это личное желание каждого.
It's a real wish of the person.
Практиковать йогу или нет.
Or not to practice.
И заставить кого-то это делать невозможно.
So if someone or make him to do it, it's possible.
Thank you.
Это уже будет насилие.
It will be if we try to make someone to it will be a himself. So we will make harm to him.
Thank you. Thank you. Andreji mentioned
1 minute.
Сложно вот в нескольких предложениях это объяснить. Все рассматривают йогу и изучают йогу.
Everyone is looking at yoga and studying yoga.
Йога – это инструмент. Представьте, чтобы музыкант изучал скрипку.
The musician will study the instrument, how to play it, not the music.
Но надо играть.
But we need to play.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So Andreji also added what Amraji said, to start with ahimsa, not with others also. Even think about to be ahimsak with the self himself. Perfect. Sheena ji, very quick tips. One practical executionable tip that you want to give to the audience to follow Yama Niyama other than what you mentioned, or anything else you want to say as a practical tip?
Yeah, I would just say that understand that yamas and niyamas are huge, that you are going to fall off your mat, you are going to fail, and not to judge yourself when you do, and to start small. So, for example, today wake up and say, I am going to not lie 5 times, and I am going to do something kind 5 times, and I am not going to engage. And when you do it, observe how you feel. Observe what it brings back to you from other people, and just sit in observation when you do those things, but start small.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Gastonji, in minimum words, one practical tip, immediately executionable.
Immediately, it's just be aware, scan your body here. What's it going on in this moment, in this reality, in this relationship with this person? And if I feel a contraction in my throat, in my chest, in my stomach, I say to everybody, hold on, I am feeling something, I feel contracted. I'm going to integrate, I'm going to feel it with consciousness, and then I'm going to answer to you. And then I'm going to react with consciousness. No under the pressure of the emotions, just first feeling, open, feeling the body, and then from inside, do my action, say my words. And because if we start to do like this, we can contribute it to the world. We think not, because there's a lot of people taking care of the planet, of the animals, of the pollution, everything, but not of the emotions and not what's going on. The most important thing is from where I am talking, from where I am moving or saying anything or acting. If it is from a contraction or from a relaxation state.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Gastonji. And dear friends who are watching us from different parts of the world, thank you very much for being with us today. We have our panel of experts, 4 different people, and we have our respected translator also. We acknowledge your presence also. And just to summarize what we discussed today, Emraji started the discussion narrating many of the problems and the concerns of the world today, but she added, the basic concern is lack of self-awareness. Sheena said that actually we are the problem. We human are the problem, and when she said we are the problem, it is the attachment in us that exactly is the problem. And that attachment comes with the emotions towards something, to get something or to avoid something. Andreji mentioned that in order to deal with this, we need to take yoga as a tool, an important tool to connect with self. And human truly have to live as per the law of nature. And yamas and niyamas, Andreji said, is actually the law of the nature itself. So world has got 2 type of people, one who are controlled by their mind, and second who can control their mind. People who are controlled by the mind, they are driven by the wishes, greed, and that's why they may at times behave like animals. And then Gastonji said, for that we need to harmonize with ourselves, need to understand from which subconscious level this greed or this emotion is coming. And then he also mentioned that never suppress or repress the emotion, address it, respect the emotions. And he said even attachment, if you feel an attachment, he said define attachment. If it is running to get something, it is because you are feeling you have a sense of incompleteness, sense of insufficiency. There are minutes, he said, around us. So just observe that greed, that emotion. Be when you observe, surrender to that emotions. As he said, hold on, I'm feeling something here. See in which part of the body you are feeling it. Let it be integrated. Surrender to it. Then you will feel complete. And then attachment will be there, but that attachment will not drive you. As he said, you will not react to it. You will hold on, and then you will act consciously. A world where everybody is acting consciously is certainly is a needs to live. And then Sheena ji gave some good ideas because it is difficult to live yamas and niyamas. So she said, remember, awareness and noise are inversely proportional to each other. Reduce noise, awareness will increase. Increase awareness, noise will automatically be reduced. So noise around whatever you listen, all the disturbing things you listen from all five senses, reduce it, awareness will increase. And then she gave us $100 experiment. I guess in some other countries it was too big a money. So for them, translate it in your own currency. And she said, do your value accounting. Amraji also added that if world has to change, then world has to start with yamas. Yoga has to start with yamas, sadhana has to start with yamas, and world has to start with yamas. And for that, she suggested create a score sheet of yamas. See whether am I doing good or not in that score sheet. And then she said, be persistent. Shivaji also added, start small step because 10 yamas and niyamas are too much. They will make you God all of a sudden. So it's not all that easy. And then if you do it, all the things together, Gastonji will say that your subconscious will start crying. So take small steps. One by one another, observe your improvement and certainly together with the yamas and niyamas, he can create a better world. Dear friends, I'm sure. And finally, Andre ji added, ahimsa is the basis of yamas and niyamas also. Be ahimsak to others and to self also. So let's begin with ahimsa for everybody, for all the beings on the planet. Thank you very much, friends. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Lovely
Namaste.
to be here. Lovely
Yes.
sharing with you. Thank you, Michelangelo.
Italian born and raised, Valentina spent 24 years of her life in Kenya as a businesswoman and eventually moved to South Africa in 2017. Mother of three beautiful and accomplished souls, Valentina, following her awakening later in life, established the first pranic energy healing center in South Africa in 2018, named Wings and Me. As a result, she started opening her own spiritual gifts, becoming an internationally certified pranic energy healer, serving a wide variety of patients and students. She also holds several diplomas, including one in psychotherapy, dream analysis, and crystal healing. Through her own spiritual evolution, she has recently developed the Inner Active Mastery Therapy, abbreviated to IAM, which she defines as the new level of psychology. This is a therapeutic journey applying quantum healing, psychology, spiritual teachings, and ancient knowledge to assist hundreds of people across the world healing from their traumatic emotional experiences in 10 easy steps. Envisioning and actualizing the creation of the non-profit organization, the Spiritual Council, in early 2021, has been the natural evolution of her journey to serve others. This time through helping humanity understand that we are not separated beings, but that we are all part of the same human race, and as such, we are co-creating and evolving into higher frequencies of existence together as one. As the Executive Director of the Spiritual Council in Africa, Valentina is also an advisor to the United Consciousness Board in creating the Manual for Happiness. She has also appeared in numerous online awareness events, sharing her knowledge and love with others.
Atma Namaste. Good morning from Johannesburg, South Africa. I am Valentina from the Spiritual Council in Africa, and it is my privilege to guide you through this healing meditation today. The topic is Inner Child Guided Meditation. If you're not completely new to meditation or inner child meditation, just don't feel overwhelmed. Anyone can follow this meditation script and always benefit from it. You simply need to just be open-minded and ready to embrace the technique. This meditation is designed specifically to facilitate the process of inner child connection and also to offer a cathartic cleansing of historic trauma or pain. So it's a great opportunity. It may also happen that during the meditation you might feel emotional, so just keep a packet of tissue by your side, just in case. Now remember that crying is also perfectly normal. It's a normal response to release, so allow your tears to flow and allow the trapped emotion to be released. It's also worth noting that this meditation might not, as a single practice, be sufficient to offer the therapeutic benefit that you might be seeking. However, it can be an effective technique to initiate such an important connection. So we are ready? Time to choose a pose. Now, we are lucky because for this specific meditation, you can actually opt to lie down as well. And whichever position you choose, the most important thing is that you find a position you can comfortably sustain for the duration of the entire practice. Now, I hope you're ready to close your eyes. As you close your eyes, pay attention in your body if there is any areas of discomfort. And if there is any areas of discomfort, take the time to make adjustments to your body so you can feel fully at ease. And now take a deep breath in and slowly exhale. And repeat it again. Breathe in and slowly exhale, emptying your mind with each exhalation. Once again, take a deep breath in, slowly exhale, and now you can return to your breathing. Allow your eyes now to grow heavy. Unclench your jaw, relax your tongue, your cheeks, even your forehead. And now it's time to relax and lower your shoulders, your arms, unfurl your fist, and soften your hands. And now open and relax your pelvis. As you do that, your legs and feet start feeling heavier and heavier as they sink into the floor. And pause now and enjoy the sensations as you feel your body continue to melt into deeper relaxation. Now think of your child self. Create a mental image in your mind's eyes of that little girl or little boy. Be patient as you allow the vision to become crisper and clearer. Picture the face. Focus on the eyes, the mouth, the posture. Take some time to observe this child and the expression. Notice the child's demeanor. What feelings may his or her body language be conveying to you? What message can you read in the eyes and the line of the mouth? Or the set of the shoulders? Now listen carefully. What do you hear? And now, what do you smell? What do you feel? And pause now while you take all this in. And now imagine a huge bubble beside the child. This bubble is dark. And inside the bubbles are frames from the moments in your life which have caused you pain. And you see them playing one after the other like a movie. The bubble feels sinister, it feels threatening and hostile, like it has taken on a life of its own, outside of the memories playing within. Allow all this to come through. And floating around the frames of memories are the dark feelings evoked by the painful moments they portray. You see loneliness, fear, guilt, addiction, rejection, or disappointment. All of the bad feelings that have weighed heavily, crushing your inner peace for too long. And you can see how the child is deeply affected by this dark bubble. How the bubble creates core beliefs that the child will carry totally, completely into adulthood. I'm not good enough, I'm not important, I'm bad, I'm not worthy of love. As you see these limiting beliefs, allow yourself to accept that these beliefs are an understandable but inappropriate reaction to those moments of pain. They do not, and I repeat, do not reflect reality. And now consider how you would respond to this child if this child was not you, but just a living, breathing girl or boy of the same age, experiencing those things, leading to some heartbreaking beliefs. Allow yourself to feel the gentle kindness and affection you would naturally extend to a child experiencing these situations, these feelings and these beliefs. Embrace this compassion that has just been ignited within you. Breathe it in. And now reach for the child and unfold them in your arms. Hold this child without judgment. Take a deep, cleansing breath in and radiate in the exhale all your compassion towards this child. And now watch the child as it sees your love, your protection, the acceptance of them in that dark bubble. And now at your next exhale, I would like you to blow the bubble away from the child. Observe now how the child has changed. Watch the difference in its posture as the weight of the bubble lifts and the child begins to experience the positive feelings associated with being accepted and acceptable, being loved and lovable. Now imagine a new bubble forming beside the child, and it's your job to fill this bubble with new happy memories and positive beliefs for them, for you. One by one, fill the new bubble with new frames of joyful moments from your childhood. You know you have had them. Fill it with feelings of pleasure and fun. And as you do that, watch the bubble grow and notice the beautiful colors portraying happiness, lightness, playfulness, creativity, imagination, love, appreciation, and understanding. And pause and breathe. And now we are going to add a few positive affirmations to the bubble for the child, for these new core beliefs that we are going to anchor into your current self and your future self. And so repeat in your mind as you fill the bubble. I will listen more and more to my inner child in the future. I will stop ignoring my inner child and pay more attention. I choose to embrace my inner child. It is okay to think differently than others. It is okay to feel differently than others. My inner child deserves to have a voice. Today I choose to let go of pain and focus on healing all aspects of my inner child. My inner child is not alone through the healing process. I give myself time to heal my inner child. My childhood does not define me and has no power over me anymore. And now I would like you to add hopes to the bubble. And now move your attention to the child. Observe the child next to the new bubble that you've created. See how his or her face changes. Notice how the shoulders are opening. There is light in the eyes. There is a big smile that shines from deep within their soul. Now encourage that child to explore their playfulness, to dance, to be creative, to be joyous. These are the things that you once felt and were able to enjoy. Remember that. Breathe it in, bring it back. Now pause for a moment and allow yourself to experience the feelings associated with childhood innocence. How it feels to fear nothing and to be just love. Breathe deeply, take it in. And now hold out your arms to the child to embrace this wonderful, precious child. Feel the love as you remember that you're one and the same. And feel yourself reconnect with your inner child as you reach a state of harmony that has invaded you for so long. Pause and breathe as you experience profound inner peace and calm. Stay here for as long as it feels good. Take it all in. This is you. There is no more pain. And when you're ready, just slowly return to the present moment. Wiggle your toes, move your wrists, shrug your shoulders, and when you're ready, open your eyes. How was it? How are you feeling now? Was it a good release? Are you feeling better? Are you feeling more connected? Are you feeling like you can take over the world right now? So I hope this meditation worked as well for you as it has done for me and for also hundreds of my students. And if you are interested in becoming a student of the Spiritual Council, www.spiritualcouncil.org. Till next time, namaste.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Ms. Valentina for her exhilarating performance. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure to welcome and introduce our next dance performance from Nantia Dance Company, a dance company based in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. The company produces new work and activities through dance exchanges, trainings, projects, and performances. The company was founded and established in 2015 by Alawai Sadai Alawai, Saloom Kabasa, and Samvel Jeffet, and has later been joined by two other dancers, Shah Muhammad Dumi and Musa Soleimani. All of them are graduates of early years in Muda Africa Dance School. The company collaborates with artists around the world and registered as a non-profit company. In its short existence, the dance company has produced 5 dance productions and some have been successfully toured to different dance festivals in Madagascar, Rwanda, Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania, where the company have performed and taken part in artist exchange. The mission of Nantia Dance Company is promoting and developing both traditional and contemporary dance in Tanzania. Also, it spreads the knowledge of contemporary dance to different dancers across the country who are new to this dance form, and to inspire and motivate the young upcoming dance artists, both male and female, into the dance industry, as well as inspiring the youths in the society to be the ambassadors of the development of social exchange. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Nantia Dance Company from Tanzania.
yetu ni asili na ina mengi ya kusema pale mdomo utakapolimaza. Asili zikizungumza, mdomo hukosa nafasi ya kuongea. Muda mwingine anatamani kunyamaza na kuachia mwili kuzungumza nafasi yake. Naamini lugha ya mwili itapotea kama mdomo utaendelea kuchukua nafasi yake. Miili yetu ni asili na ina mengi ya kusema pale mdomo utakaponyamaza. Asili zikizungumza, mdomo hukosa nafasi ya kuongea.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Nantia Dance Company from Tanzania for coming onto the platform of United Consciousness and giving such a ravishing performance. Thank you so much. I feel excited to introduce our next ravishing performance by Mr. Nyati Twanda from Namibia. He is a traditional musical instrument maker, teacher, and player. He is originally from Zimbabwe and currently staying in Namibia. Strictly non-religious, non-political, and embraces the spirit of oneness, respect, and transparency. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Nyati Twanda.
Mare baba, mururu kumachembere makakuatorwa. Pinda nyati mdariro changamire. Welcome on United Consciousness International Yoga Week, sponsored by United Consciousness Global. Yekanoka mbo changamire. Chingaira iwe nduke. Cheka.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Mr. Nyati Twanda for coming onto the platform of United Consciousness and giving such a beautiful performance. Thank you so much.
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्।
This shloka means, may everyone be happy, may everyone be free from all diseases, may everyone see goodness and auspiciousness in everything, may none be unhappy or distressed. Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. I'm highly privileged to have this opportunity to present my gratitude to all those who have witnessed and blessed this event directly or indirectly. I believe that this is not the end, but the beginning of our journeys. The journeys towards the noble cause of removing the 14 divides rooted in human race and promoting harmonious and peaceful coexistence. Firstly, I thank the God for blessing us all. I thank European Yoga Federation, thank the Spiritual Council in Africa. I'm also very thankful for Yoga Vidya, Germany, Yoga Lam, Russia, Siddhashram, Turkey, Nidra Consciousness, France, Yoga Yogismo, South America, AAYT, Australia, World Movement for Yoga and Ayurveda, Italy, UCIYW, Italy, the World Community of Indian Culture and Tradition Disciplines, Italy. I owe my heartfelt thanks to our esteemed chief guest, Dr. Hansaji Yogendra, Director, Yoga Institute, Mumbai, for sparing her valuable time from a busy schedule for the event of United Consciousness. I extend my heartfelt thanks to our speakers, Ms. Francois Barbara Friedman, Ms. Caroline Van Demme, and Mr. Omkara Varas. I'm also thankful to our esteemed panelists, Ms. Sheena Patel, Mr. Andrei Meshchenko, Ms. Amra Kubert, and Mr. Gaston Bacani. I'm thankful to our yoga and meditation expert, Ms. Nati Deo and Ms. Valentina Courtney. I'm thankful to our dance and music performers. I owe my heartfelt thanks to Team Project Self USA, Shri Rajesh Rabindranath, Ms. Pavitra Srinivasan, Ms. Madhurika Arvind, Ms. Rashmi Kashi, Dr. Prasad Akavu, Dr. Vijay Reddy, Ms. Gina Suresh, Mr. Karthik Palamalai, Mr. K.L. Alexander, Mr. Venkat Sriram Lalu, Ms. Deepthi Nair, Ms. Avneet Bad, Mr. Suresh, Mr. Devaraju, Ms. Deepa Arun. I thank Team Project Self Bharat, Dr. Vikrant Singh Tomar, Dr. Shweta Tomar, Aditi Meghna Mausan Prachi, Mr. J.S. Juneja, Dr. Paramji Juneja, Rishi Vishalji Arnav, Aditya Ashwin, Rati Dharmendraji Uday, Poojaji Bhartiji, Diptiji, Amrishji, Mrinalniji, Khushbuji, Jimmyji, Mr. Sanjay Rajput, Ms. Simran Reel. I am also very grateful for our new members in the team of United Consciousness, Ms. Aishwarya, Ms. Priyanka and Mr. Prakash Tyagi. I am very much thankful to our wonderful audience and all the visible and invisible sources blessing us.